Most of you watching this video probably know what a Session 0 is in terms of TTRPGs. But for those who don't, a Session 0 is when the group gets together and builds characters as well as talks to the GM about what to expect from the game. But there's one thing that you absolutely need to do during a Session 0 that you probably never even thought of. So, what is this thing that you're not thinking about that's very important for a Session 0? You need to start talking about your character choices with the rest of your group. I know, sounds simple, and it is. However, I've been playing tabletop role-playing games since the days of Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, and in all that time, I've never seen anybody do this during a Session 0. I've played Pathfinder 1st Edition, I've played Pathfinder 2nd Edition, I've played D&D 3.5, 4th, and 5th Edition, and nobody seems to want to do this. When you have people in your group that are new to the system, you're going to have some idea of what they're picking, because the GM is going to be teaching them how to build a character. This is great because it gives you an idea of what you should pick for your character. However, I've seen time and time again where veteran players just sit down and build their character on their own with no input from anyone. At the very least, in Pathfinder 2e, you should not be doing this. If you've got a group of players that just builds their character on their own with no input, how in the heck are you supposed to know what they're picking so you know what to pick? Let's look at an example. Let's say we've got one player who wants to be a barbarian and another player who wants to be a wizard. These two can work fantastically together. But what happens when the wizard doesn't know that the other party member is playing a barbarian, or vice versa? The barbarian might build toward damage because he doesn't realize that there is a wizard in the party. He may not pick grapple feats because he doesn't realize that somebody is playing a spellcaster that he needs to keep enemies off of. And same thing with the wizard. If he doesn't realize that somebody's playing a barbarian, he may not pick spells that are really going to help the barbarian out, such as command. Or he may not pick that fear spell that's going to stack with the flat-footed condition that the barbarian is inflicting. In any tabletop role-playing game, whether it's Pathfinder 2e, D&D 5e, or another system, you can't work effectively with your team if you don't know what classes your team is taking and what abilities they have. Flat out. Which is why it's hugely important to do this during Session 0 and whenever you level up your character. In most cases, you are talking to the GM anyway, so why not also talk to the other players? This does not mean you have to talk to them about their backstories. I know a lot of people want to keep certain aspects of their backstories secret, and that's totally fine. In fact, that makes for better games. But that does not mean that you can't talk to your group about your character options. For example, knowing that the fighter has combat grab tells you absolutely nothing about his backstory. It just tells you what his fighting style is. And now that you know what his fighting style is, you can build a character around that. This also does not mean that you can't play whatever character you want, especially in Pathfinder 2e. Every class can help every other class in some way, whether it's shoring up weaknesses or making them even better at what they're good at. It doesn't matter whether we're playing 5e D&D, Pathfinder 2e, or Pathfinder 1e, or really any other system. We need to stop thinking about how we can make our characters as badass as possible and start thinking about how we can make the group as badass as possible. And it's not just feats like Share Rage or Overdrive Ally. There are a boatload of ways to do this that are very cool. A lot of you probably just need to think about strategy and teamwork instead of doing as much damage as possible. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Pathfinder 2nd Edition teamwork content. You can also check out the Patreon page in the description below for more teamwork builds that aren't on this channel. So remember, teamwork is vital, and I'll see you guys next time.